All you need to complete today's project is watercolor or mixed media paper, some watercolor paint, a sponge brush, a flat-headed brush that is probably at least an inch across, a smaller brush with a nice point, and a Sharpie. Let's do a sweet little Christmas composition that is so easy. If you could draw a potato, you can do this. I'm using my Sharpie to go over the lines I already created in pencil so that you can see them. We start with a triangular shape that builds up to the scarf of our snowman. We have to make sure we draw the downward hanging piece of the scarf before we draw the sides going around his neck. This guy is going to be looking up. He has a carrot nose. His nose is pointing upward. And you can see, I'll put his little eyes here. What's he looking up at? He is looking up at a bird that is sitting on his nose, which is just a teardrop shape with 3 little tail feathers, and his legs come from the back. The wing is just a little curve, a dot for the eye, and a diamond shape for his beak. He's reaching upward with his branch fingers. And you can color those in with your Sharpie. All you need to do this little composition is your journal or some watercolor paper. My journal is mixed media with a smooth finish. Okay, the next individual, we're making the ground in our composition, is our little girl. And like I said, if you can draw a potato, you can do this drawing. So we're putting a little hat on her head, Santa style. Start with a puffy fur trim, and then a puffy fur bauble on the end of her hat or toque. Then we draw her hair, the shape of her hair, which is hugging her face. She has a little smile, a nice long nose, just basically 2 little dots for her eyes, and that's her eyebrows, and you can already start to see her personality. Let's go on to her mitts. Here's one. Her body is just a big blob. Like I said, if you can draw a potato, you can do this. 2 little arms. Here's her neck. Another mitt. Hands are not easy to draw, but mitts are not too hard. Okay, now her boots. We draw a curve for each boot, then the bottom, then they come up and we make a little half oval shape or almost square shape. There's her tiny little legs going up into her boots, down into her boots. I'm looking at this upside down. Oh my goodness. Okay. And next we have our little reindeer. He's so cute. He has a potato body. A little tail. He's actually sitting on the ground. So we'll just do his legs with the black Sharpie, or you could do a brown Sharpie if you prefer. Triangles for feet. This is a very whimsical little reindeer. Triangles for feet. And there's his legs. Okay, his face is more or less of a teardrop shape. And he has 2 oval ears. Really simple. His nose is big and round. His smile curls up at the ends. Just 2 dots for eyes. And a long skinny neck. I'm just going to go ahead and color the neck in with black. Okay, he has antlers and they are basically another big U shape. If you ever see a deer, their antlers are different on each side, slightly. So I'm giving him 3 points and a little spiky hairdo. Now I have 2 more birds to put in to the composition and a few words. This is called So Happy Together. Here is a teardrop shape. So that's what I'm going to be writing. Little beak. The birds are going to be blue jays. And blue jays have dark beaks. Blue jays stay all winter here in Canada. They don't migrate. Most of our birds are gone. Okay, so we have 2 teardrop shaped birds and each one has 3 feathers on its tail. And we have a little snowman looking upward with a carrot nose, a sweet little girl with a potato body, and a reindeer with a potato body, and then the ground underneath them. So now let's put in our words. These are optional, of course. You could put any words you like. So happy. Together. right, it's time to get out the paint and give your composition some color. I don't think I told you, but I had drawn the little composition with pencil very lightly before I decided to go over it with my really dark Sharpie. And so I'm just taking off all the pencil lines before we start painting. If you don't have a Sharpie, you could draw your composition with a black ballpoint pen. Just needs to be something that is indelible, that does not melt with water. So not Crayola markers, for sure. Okay, time to dust this off and get the paint. I'm using a sponge brush to wet the page. So that I can wash on some nice color for our background. And I'll take a big flat-headed, oh, that's an angled brush, big flat-headed brush. And I'm starting with yellow paint. I'm bringing this all the way across and down. So just keep going with the yellow paint, tilting it a little bit so that the paint is encouraged to come on down the page. I'm using paints I got at the local dollar store. You can have fun with almost anything. You don't have to have expensive, professional quality paint to get started. So I'm bringing some yellow paint all the way down, blending it. I keep dipping my brush in my water. Making it a little bit more intense, closer to the top. All right, we'll let this dry. We're starting with a little bit of pale turquoise paint. Getting it activated. And this is going to come across the bottom of our composition, indicating snow or the ground beneath their feet. And it's fairly pale. Not too intense. Just a little swipe. I have to get under my clip. I have a clip holding the edge of the page down because it wants to buckle. Once the page is a little drier, it won't do that. But okay. So we have pale turquoise across the bottom. And next I'm going on the snowman. I'm going to use a Naples yellow type of a color for the snowman. make it fairly watery so it's not too intense. And we'll just brush that into him. I'm just going ahead with wet into dry, painting, not too intense. We can always add more. And his face, if you were to go right over his scarf, it wouldn't matter. Our blue jay will be done in a nice deeper turquoise color. Drawing the composition in pencil is the thing that takes the longest, all the fiddling and erasing. Painting's the easy part. Okay, I have a little too much paint on him, so I'm going to take a thirsty brush, clean off my brush, dab it on a Kleenex, and pick up a bit of that paint. Now, blue jays have a white tummy, so I'm going to pick up a fair amount of the paint off of his tummy, and we'll let him dry. And then we're going on to our little girl's boots, which are going to be a pale gray color. You can make gray by mixing brown and blue if you don't have gray. You can see, now you can more or less see that she has little thin little legs that go down into her boots. Her mitts are going to be purple. So I'm taking a nice purple shade and putting that in here. You could use any color you like, but I just feel like purple would be fun. Her body is just a great big rounded square, and I think I will paint her with a magenta type of color. So I'm sticking to my purple scheme with the little girl. This is nice and cheerful and vibrant. We'll add to her later. This palette has a shade that is, I think, meant to be a flesh tone, or it's a really, really pale orange or peach color, and I'm going to use that for her face. And her arms. She has bare arms. Okay, and her little legs. Her hair is going to be a warm brown tone, coffee color. But you could change the color of the hair to be like anybody you know and love. Especially if you're doing this on a Christmas card and you're sending it to someone. I'm not worrying too much about staying in the lines. I mean, I am trying, but it's okay to go over your lines a little bit. Okay, the hat is going to be a beautiful deep red. Now we're back to the blue jay on top of her hat. I like doing silly birds, and all of these characters have a bird on their head, just to keep this light and cheerful. 3 little feathers for a tail. Making a thirsty brush and taking some of the paint out of his belly because their bellies are white. It's not going to be white, but I can make it look a little lighter. And look, went right over the line there, so I'm going to try to clean that up a little bit. But anyways, maybe I'm just making a mess and I should leave it. I'm dabbing it with a Kleenex to see if that helps. All right, and now I'm going on to our reindeer. He's so cute. The reindeer is going to have brown, coffee-colored brown hooves, just like the girl's hair. They're just triangles. His little tail sticking out the back here, and his body painted in the same color for now. Color him in. We'll add a little bit more in a minute. A little bit of shading coming, but not yet. We'll just get started with this. And his face, leaving his nose empty. He's got a nice big nose. What color do you think we will do his nose? And we'll do his ears. Okay, I'm taking a little bit of a darker cinnamon brown for his horns, just to make it look a bit different. Painting both of those. And he has a little tuft of hair on top of his head. What color should we do that? I think I'll make his hair gray. Just a little splash of gray hair. Okay. And we're back to our blue jay. So I'm taking a deep turquoise shade. Any blue would be fine. And I'm painting him. And I'm making that thirsty brush to clean a little bit off his tummy. I will probably add to the blue jays. Let's go back to our snowman, and we can add some more color to him. I'd like him to have a green scarf. I'm using a nice bright lemony green shade. Happy colors and a little happy composition. This painting is being done just for relaxation and entertainment. And maybe you'd like to give it to someone on a Christmas card. It would be a big Christmas card if you're doing it this size. My paper is 9 by 12, I think. Okay, I'm warming up, softening up a bit of my pumpkin orange paint. And that's going to go in his nose. I'm coming back to the reindeer and I'm taking a really warm red for his nose. It's a little warmer than the red I used in the hat. But if you only had one red, just use that. And getting into some pale turquoise. And we'll just indicate the shape of the fur. I will take some of this paint off of here with a thirsty brush because it's a little too dark, but I'm just going to get it on there. Then I will clean off my brush and get back in here removing some of the paint and smoothing it out. And same thing in this fur on her hat. Just get in there and clean a bit of it off. Okay, now we can add a little more if you want, or you can stop here. I'm taking some soft pink, a little bit of soft pink, and putting that into her cheeks. I think the reindeer would like some too. And I'm going to get some more of that soft pink and put it a little bit into the hat. Just in the center. A little bit of a deep blue. To put a little extra blue on the blue jay's back and his wings and his tail. So I'm adding a little deep blue. I'm doing that to all 3 blue jays. This is starting to come alive. Okay, I'd like to go around the edge of the reindeer with some of that cinnamon brown. This is my cinnamon brown. Just to create a bit of a shading. He's still basically a potato. Put a little dark brown under his tail. And I'm also going to go around his face, around the outside of his cheeks with this cinnamon brown. I'm intensifying the color in his antlers. Although they were fine, I think I just wanted a little bit more. I think I would like to put some pink in his ears. So I think I'll put a little pink in here and a little pink in here right over the top of the coffee color. And now the snowman. I think I would like to just take a little bit of pale turquoise and go around the edge of him. Then I'll clean off my brush and just blend it out a little bit. So that's just basically a damp brush, blending it out. I'll do the same thing around his head. Okay, now how about a little bit of shadow underneath some of these people? I'm taking purple. Purple for my shadow. It's a fairly deep purple. So I'm going to use plenty of water. If you don't have purple, you could use a darker blue or mixed pink, and just putting a little shadow underneath her, under the reindeer. Okay, oh, this is getting to be really cute. I'm taking some of the very light pink that I used on my girl's cheeks, and I'm putting it in the middle of her body. And I think I'll go around her body with a deeper pink, or maybe I'll use that that purple that we used for the shadow, just to give a little shadow around the out. It's not a shadow, but just to emphasize the edge. Okay, that's looking good, and I would like to do that with her hat as well. So I'm just taking a little bit of that purple that I used to make shadows, and I'm adding some interest to the hat. Okay, that is looking too dark. I don't like it. I'm getting some of the warm red that I used in my reindeer, and I'm putting that in the middle. Like to put a little bit of shadow underneath. It's a bit too much, so I'll take a bit of that away. Well, guys, we're just about finished. Making a little, cleaning off a little circle on the cheek of the blue jay, because their cheeks are a little bit whiter. Just a damp brush. You could do this with a Q-tip. That would work really well. think we're finished. Here is your cute, cute Christmas composition. I hope you try it and that you come to our Facebook page, which is called Artsy Farters, and post yours underneath one of our videos.